Governor Ron DeSantis tries to punish Orlando venue that hosted a Christmas drag show.
We're back. A Drag Queen Christmas. Hosted by Trinity the Tuck and Monet Exchange. We're coming to your city. Get ready, the Naughty Tour is back. 38 cities from coast to coast. Get tickets at dragvans.com.
Well, the administration of the anti-LGBTQ plus Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is trying to take away the liquor license of a performing arts center as punishment for hosting that drag show that you just saw that children were allowed to attend. The Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation filed a complaint on Friday against the Orlando Philharmonic Plaza Foundation, Incorporated, after it hosted a drag queen Christmas show on December 28th. The complaint took issue with the fact that the drag show was advertised as, quote, all ages, end quote, and said the note warning about inappropriate content, quote, was barely visible, end quote. As per the complaint, the show included sexually explicit songs and dances without expressly prohibiting children from attending. However, in reality, the venue left it up to parents' discretion, parental rights, with a sign that read, quote, while we are not restricting access to anyone under 18, please be advised some may think the content or context is not appropriate for under 18, end quote. Out former Florida legislator Carlos Guillermo Smith has shared his view on the matter. He tweeted that this attempt by the DeSantis administration is nothing but a misuse of regulatory power that can cause severe economic consequences for local businesses. Okay, basically it's on. Department of Professional Regulation is just an administrative hand of Governor DeSantis. So he has the power to do this, and it'll be a question of how far he pushes it. I suspect he's saber rattling in doing this. Our house here in South Florida is in the same situation. They could have Department of Business Regulation do the exact same thing to our house. The argument is that if you're under 18 and material is sexually explicit, that children are under 18 are not allowed to be there. The proof of the pudding is defined sexually explicit. They're mixing adult entertainment of nudity and the idea that verbal conversation is sexually explicit, therefore pornographic, therefore children cannot be present. There's no proof of that, and there's no court documentation follow-up that speech is the same thing in public as pornographic material. That's the issue here. So court challenge at the minimum is coming. I suspect we won't get there because the case is so incredibly weak. But it is a representation of what the governor is trying to prepare for. And don't forget, every single thing he does is leading to November of 2024.
November of 2024, but Al, you made a comment on the show, I think a week or two ago, and you were saying that him being as radical as he is could really be his Achilles heel when he goes to the general elections. Yeah, it's a national thing. Because, yes, in Florida, he's maybe Texas.
He's preaching to the base for sure.
Right.
And when he gets to a national, it's just a question of that base is coming with him. Newsmax is coming with him. Fox News is coming with him. Tucker Carlson and Laura are coming with him. How far beyond, we don't know yet.
Whether or not it's a weak case, the power it has to intimidate a lot of businesses and organizations could be incredibly powerful. That is, we don't know how many folks will actually not put on certain shows or not for people who are even over 18. It's I like Carlos Guillermo Smith's point here because it is anti-business in many ways, right? That is, the framing of it could easily become against really kind of freedom of expression, right? I mean, things like pornography are ambiguous terms. I mean, that is, so are it's also ironic that the way that they've peddled themselves to be the party of parental rights, but not in this case. That is, the parents here don't have rights to determine.
Decide.
You can't decide. It's what they decide. The parents should decide.
Right.
So it's.
Right. I agree. I think that is the irony of not only parents' rights, but also small government. So I think that the Republicans prize themselves on being the government should not intervene, the government should not do this, and yet we find them intervening again. People that are under 18 cannot sign up to go to a drag show by themselves, right? Like, there has to be some type of
and I think we've legislated this. I mean, if the content of this show, I would imagine, if it were to be filmed, could be shown at 8 o'clock on regular broadcast television, because RuPaul's Drag Race is shown at 8 o'clock on broadcast television, cable, but still at an hour that is appropriate. Children, quote unquote children, who are 13 can go to a movie that shows explicit sexual content, and even some light nudity. So children between the ages of 13 and 18, we've already legislated this. So this is such a thin attack at the LGBTQ plus community.
The party of contradiction.
Over
and over again.
At the end of the day, one of the things that jumps off for me at the table of conversation is with weak legal position against the First Amendment, the observations of, here are all of the counter alternatives of the exact same thing. You have to get to, why is he doing this? There's probably only one reason. He's running for president of the United States, and he thinks that this is a path to say, see, I have your parental back, and I'm going to scare you, which means you're going to support. And at the end of the day, the focus should not be on the drag queen. For us, for our community, and those that are ACLU, those that are speech embracers of the First Amendment, we should not be distracted by the drag queen. That is misdirection. It is gaslighting. We should be paying attention to what the issue is, which is a person that is trying to get to the White House by any means necessary. That's what we're watching.
And if I can just add, because it's front and center right now in the state of Florida, is that he is not protecting our children from gun violence, which is the biggest thing that is threatening our children in Florida. And he's going for open carry, permitless. And so that is the thing that our children are at risk for. Drag queens are not.
And listen to the children. Like, what is it the children are at? And we keep on saying children in this broad term, but like that is like, what are youth looking for? What do they need protection from? That is, I believe in agency, right? That young people know what they need, and I think that listening to them is what has to happen.
He has shown us his hand. We should listen to what he's saying.
Absolutely.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.